You know what I'm saying?
So we actually built it on that on Ghostface versus Raekwon versus, man. I don't know if we can test that again. It was so epic to me, man. I had to touch it again, Sundiata.
Oh, son, it was lovely.
You know what?
Set it off, Charles.
The Woo. Now they got Meth and Redman. So it's like you've had Method Man. I mean, you're gonna have Method Man, Raekwon, Ghost, and RZA. So they all have done verses now. Well, once they do that 420 joint.
Yeah. That's gonna be right.
Yeah, for real. They picked the right ones.
Yeah.
Sir. But everyone, welcome. Blessings to everyone who's catching the vibes here. Again, we're here once again with Brother Sundiata, and we have some very special guests that's going to be brought in momentarily. My name is Chuck. Chuck, chill the hell out. This mouth of mine tends to get me in trouble, but you know what? I got to speak my truth as I see it, It's one thing, my father told me upon his passing, he said, brother, whatever you got to say, just make sure it's said. Nobody can talk for you but you. So I took that to heart, and that's, it's always resonated with me throughout the years. But this is our build today. Once again, our podcast here. The bill comes due. I'm your host once again, Charles Minton. I have our brother Sundiata in the building once again. Yes, sir. And we have some very special guests here once again today. Listen, man, you guys, I heard the work. I'm so happy that you're here building with me and with us today. You guys want to say a couple of words with regards to who you are and in reference to your journey here to this moment. Please feel free. The mic is yours.
I'll let you take that.
Peace. Cochise the Beast, Brooklyn, New York. Now Atlanta by way of Brooklyn, New York. You know what I'm saying? Been doing music for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Me and Chucky go back a long way. I won't say how many years, but quite a few years. Long time. We've been, we do our thing as a group called Ron Holder, but we also part of this collective called Chairmen of the Bars. So I do beats. I like to say I'm more of a lyrical artist, you know what I'm saying? I do some poetic stuff and, I rap too, you know what I'm saying? But little unorthodox style, but, try to keep it on point, you know what I'm saying? So that's me, Cochise the Beast, also known as Jabari Sayari.
Pleasure.
And I am Charles Marone, Chucky baby. What is it? The Cimarron. Cimarron, the best to ever shit behind two shoes. A couple other monikers, I got a million monikers, but those are some of them. Also from Brooklyn, New York, living in Maryland now. And and I believe in always working your art, right? No matter how old you are, how young you are, you always got to work your art. You never give up nothing that you love, right? Unless it's like crack or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real talk. Okay, big up. I'm VX Scimitar. I'm part of this collective right here, COB, Chairman of the Bars. I also get down. My original squad that I got down with was out of the Solar Panel, and Solar Panel's a whole nother story. There's a bunch of groups, but I was in a few of those, and so here, happy to rock and roll with these cats down with Dirty Man Book. Dirty Buck Records. This is brand new, y'all. We just coming up with all this. So as you can see, all of those symbols behind my man Cochise, they have a whole lot to do with what COB stands for. And I really like what Marone was talking about as far as you just keep doing what you do. Because, just some people might say, oh, well, when you get to be a certain age, you still rapping, you still rapping. It's like, well, first of all, you know what I'm saying? This is an art form. So if I was an artist, would I put down my pens and pencils and paintbrushes and stuff because I passed it, you know, when I get 40, I ain't gonna get down no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that don't make no sense. You know what I mean? You should get better with time. So anyway, I'm gonna be quiet on that.
Indeed.
So yeah, so before we dive into the work, you guys want to talk about how you guys met, and you just talk about specifically how this new album came to fruition.
Well, you know, me and Chuck, we met years ago, and we were solo artists and came together and we did a group called Wolfpack way back in the days. And you know, we were on a political quest in terms of our music back then. So we've known each other for a long time, you know, and we kind of reconnected and formed another group. And I met the brother, Cordrick or Ripcord, who's not on the line right now. I met him through my job, you know what I'm saying? He was a student and I was working at a college, and he came through, and I was the advisor for his group. They did a lot of work around music and stuff, and you know that's how we met. And then for my man VX, we kind of met through VX or Sundiata. First time I met him was actually at a wedding. All three of us met at that wedding. Me, Chuck,
Hey, Boogie.
yeah,
Mhm.
and my boy Ike Boogie got married, and you know, there's so many connections in terms of everything. D and I do a lot of work with children as well, so we're both teaching artists, and you know, just like Chucky was talking about the art. So you know, we use the art in different ways. We use it to entertain, and we use it to educate and to raise the baby. So you know, me and D, or as we call him, Sundiata, VX, we do some work with kids around the culture of hip hop and education. You know, actually, we're all educators, so you know what I'm saying, that's first and foremost. So whether we doing edutainment or we in the classroom, it's all the same to us.
Mm, mm.
Teaching the babies.
Do you?
The grown babies too.
Yeah, we're teaching the grown babies.
Right.
Yeah.
What you're saying is it's resonating with me. Sundiata mentioned it earlier. You know, I'm looking to start my own school. Been a long-time educator. Started off teaching in Brooklyn. Taught in Newark, New Jersey. If you guys know anything about Newark, Newark is as real as people make it out to be. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
They don't
So
call
you
them the
know,
bricks for nothing.
no, right. So you know, it's always been a passion of mine, just working with young people with similar upbringings as myself. You know, I tell folks all the time, if you want to get a sense in terms of like why I act the way I act sometimes, you know, that Ghostface song, All I Got Is You, it pretty much is a reference point in terms of who I was growing up as a young man, you know, in New York City, you know, riding an iron horse and single parent household and just going through the trials and tribulations growing up in New York City, and sort of cultivate the man that I am now. So hip hop has been really integral with regards to who I am and my development overall, and seeing its impact working with young people. And I'm you know, recall getting in so many arguments with young people who don't know, not even who KRS-One is. A lot of them don't even care for like an artist like Nas, who was somewhat even more contemporary. They're looking at me like Nas is old school. Nas is like, I'm just like, oh man, we're gonna sit here and play Nas now, you know what I mean? So no, we're not gonna do that, you know. So it's real integral. And what you were saying, Coach, in terms of bridging that connection between hip hop and the babies is definitely something I'm looking forward to with regards to my school. It's something I've always done as a teacher as well. It should be something that's separated, but I do think that knowledge, I think it's easier for us to have that knowledge because obviously we look like the people that we're teaching. We look like the kids that we're teaching. So it's easy for us to have that mindset. Whereas a lot of folks sort of like want to put hip hop over there in the bucket in terms of being negative, not recognizing the impact that it really has. You know, so it's my hope that folks just, begin to just like not ignore hip hop, but just use it as a tool for working with these babies. Because, a lot of them, it's just, it's a struggle just to get them to do anything. So hip hop, used as a tool in the right way, as it's done for us, it could be a great, vehicle for just, them reaching their dreams, man. So hip hop is a powerful tool that just needs to be integrated more with the lives of our young people.
As I'm looking at the screen, I see 3 dudes from New York and 1 dude from the greater Boston area. So one of these kids is not like the others. But when you get down to it, the real deal is we all deal with the same issues. No matter what city you're from, what coast you're from, we had the same issues in our communities with having not enough money, people doing crime, people having, backwards mindsets. So the things that we're dealing with are all common. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of brought COB together, you know what I mean? Because we had a common friend, and then we found out we had common interests, common taste in music, and then we were from a common era. And that right there is precious. You don't always find people that had the same experience that you do in hip hop. So it's not like let's say me and somebody who's maybe 18 who really likes hip hop and is trying to study hip hop, we can have a good conversation. But at the same time, I can't express to them, or they don't know what it felt like to go see Houdini rock, and see Ecstasy on stage and do his thing. Now it's too late for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different thing. But anyway, hip hop does have that unifying power about it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the thing is that, it's difficult, what I'm saying? We have these conversations all the time, all of us as a group, as a collective. And like I said, we do work in the hip hop education field as well. So we have those discussions. I think it's difficult. Sometimes we have to put it in perspective. Like I always say, what I'm saying? I had a wake-up call about 3 or 4 years ago doing a workshop with kids and mentioning some of these artists, not even going back as far as KRS-One, maybe going back to the 90s, maybe going back to Ice Cube. And those kids were like, yeah, that's what my grandfather rocked to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got to put it in perspective that some of these kids, their parents weren't even born when the artists we're talking about came out.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's about an education. It's about history. You know what I'm saying? We have to teach it as a historical piece. And as we teach it as a historical piece, we have to find a way to show these kids that it's a part of their culture. A lot of times we teach it from our culture, but not including them as a part of their culture.
And that's one, and to piggyback on that, we can't diss what they come up with. Like I hear a lot of vibes, like people talking about, the realness in hip hop, like that argument over authenticity, what's real and what's not real, what some people in my era would call mumble rap is something that's deep and insightful for somebody that's young in another age group, we can't minimize this shit and big up ours and expect ours to get respect. It has to be an ongoing thing. I have to have respect for what they do as their art and work their art, and at the same time deal with what I deal with as art. You know what I mean? I'm not taking anything away from any of these young guys, because a lot of them are very good. And I have less respect, for an older person who's saying, oh, they're not doing real hip hop. And then it's like, when the last time you heard a hip hop record? And you're gonna tell me something about Spoonie G? Like, get the hell out of here. Nobody want to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? You haven't listened to a hip hop record in 30 years. And you talking about, you got to look at the art form as a whole. That's all I'm really trying to say. You know,
And no disrespect to Spoonie. That's
yeah.
you
No, yeah, no
know, yeah.
disrespect to him. You know, but it's a whole thing. It's a
But
whole thing.
but
You
you
know.
know what? To be honest, when we listen to the flows of Spoonie G and these kids hear it, it's like a foreign language to them.
Oh,
You know what I'm
Spoonie's
saying?
nasty.
He is nasty, but
Yeah.
the art has evolved so far since then
Yeah,
that they don't listen that same way. We have the foundation in that.
right.
They don't. What they hear,
Mhm.
you know, what they hear is totally different. Their whole listening pattern, it's going to take them a while to kind of figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, we got to be honest about it. It's just like language. It's just like you start as, you know, a kind of a dialect, and then it grows into a language, and other words get added, other ways that is pronounced and things like that get added. So, you know, the classic stuff is beautiful and it's the foundation. But you got to understand, it's like, you know, I'll give you an example. When I was in school, I took Swahili 2 before I took Swahili 1. And that messed me up when I had to go back and take Swahili 1.
See you going.
Because I was so advanced and had figured out some things without learning the basics of how to conjugate the verbs. You know what I'm saying? So think about it in those terms. You know what I'm saying? Think about a kid who's hearing now. You talking about Nas. These kids, old school for them is 50 Cent. Old school for them is T.I. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They've progressed so far in terms of their listening patterns that they don't have the foundation. They don't know where it comes from because we don't teach the art in that way and say that KRS-One begat, you know what I'm saying? All these other rappers who were, you know, were influenced by the people who KRS influenced, or going back before KRS and saying that Melly and those and Kaz and them influenced him. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like starting a puzzle at the end rather than at the beginning.
nice.
Mm.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, in a previous conversation, and I was making a similar point as far as, you know, the older generation has to be somewhat held. We got to hold ourselves accountable for what we're hearing. If we're hearing things that we don't like in hip hop, what have we done to teach the young ones in the style or in the culture that we want them to rock in? If we didn't do that, then who are we to really? I mean, you know, we can have our feelings and we can decide we want to listen to whoever, but we shouldn't disrespect our young ones because, like Marone said, you know, if we do that, that level of respect is not there from them to us, and then that bridge starts falling down. Whereas if we could make a bridge, it has to come from respect. Like, okay, this is where y'all at. This is what you doing. All right. Well, this is what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? And what you doing is based off of what we were doing. So let's try to understand what's what. You know what I mean? You may not like everything from my era, but you're going to find somebody you like. I might not like everybody from your era, but I'm going to run across something I like.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Why not?
You know, just building on that, well, that just takes me to a whole different perspective. And I just want to pose a question to you guys. So, as artists, do you guys feel that there is a responsibility in terms of the messaging that's put out there? You know, Sundiata, we were building about Cardi B, that WAP song, right? You know, she's, you know, wanted to put a song out there. She put it out there, but
I had said I like that song, by the way.
Yes.
But
I like what it's named after.
But don't get this to started.
Don't get him started.
But with that said, I don't know. With great power comes great responsibility. So a lot of our young people, they're being raised by the media. They're being raised by music. They're being raised by people who they can't see except for on the television. So, you know, with that said, I mean, is there a responsibility? You know, these folks are making the money and they're you know, putting their message out there for the youth. Should they be held accountable for the right messaging? Because obviously, you guys have knowledge yourself, and you guys put, you know, really great music out there. Should we hold, you know, the artists that are out here now to that same accountability with regards to the music that's being put out there?
I'm gonna throw it back to you and ask you a question.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you like action films?
No doubt.
Do we hold those artists
I see you
to
going.
the same responsibility? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why rappers gotta raise everybody? Why athletes, black athletes gotta raise everybody, and everybody else and every other culture can do whatever they want to do? Yo, I love The Godfather. I love Scarface. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna step to Al Pacino. Nobody gonna step to any of the directors, you know what I'm saying, and say, yo, you got a responsibility to
Yeah,
teach
he just killed
kids.
somebody.
You know what I'm saying?
He just killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, he just killed a bunch of people.
So
You know?
I think we are looking at the wrong thing. You talked, Charles, about the tool. And hip hop is a tool. It can be used to build or it can be used to destroy.
Exactly.
Hopefully most people are going to use it to build. But at the same time, some people are using it to feed their families. Some people are using it to become billionaires. So, yo, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where the responsibility lies. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take the whole Charles Barkley, not to date myself, but I am going to date myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do the Charles Barkley. I'm not a role model. But, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop is not a monolith, just like black people not a monolith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's some people that choose to build and try to help people, and there's some people that are just doing it for the entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
And to get back to that WAP, to bring it back to the WAP.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it kosher. But
Okay.
I'm saying to bring it back to the WAP. We talking about a chick that just like the Megan. We talking about a lady that just got shot by some dude that she was going with. I can't remember the dude's name.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly got shot by some dude that she was going with or whatever. And they want to talk about a song about WAP. They want to hold her accountable for that instead of holding that dude accountable for what he did.
Allegedly.
And I mean, and when you think about it, like I think Cardi said it best.
Tory Lanez, right? Tory Lanez the guy. That's right. Yeah, Tory Lanez, right?
I think Cardi said it best when we started talking about this WAP thing. She was like, they came down on her and they was like, "Oh, Cardi, you making this song about WAP and da 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 da, and you doing this and you doing that." And she's like, there's one thing I love about Cardi. She always drops everybody's name, always tries to give everybody some burn, right? She was like, you can listen to No Name, right? You can listen to Cyrock. He was like, you can listen to all these female rappers that are in particular lanes, right? He said, but you don't want to listen to that. What you want to hear about is some wet ass pussy. That's what you want to hear about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so when we talk about the accountability for it, accountability is on what you want to hear. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to hear about that. You know what I'm saying?
And I just say, not to cut your cipher, Charles. I just did, pardon, sir.
No doubt.
What I want to say is one of my childhood memories of hip hop is hearing Grandmaster Caz do that record. What is it? Yvette? Not Yvette. It's not Yvette. I forgot. It was huh?
The story is a story rhyme.
It's a story rhyme about the girl, and he said somebody's coming. Yeah, that's me. You know what I'm saying? We never heard anybody go at him for this song that he's making about having sex with this girl and her father coming home. You know what I'm saying? So I just think, sometimes we gotta be even across the board and be honest. Have exactly. Real honest conversations.
Right. She was only 17. 17. She was 50.
That's my boy right there.
And Biggie got a song. Biggie got a song where he be like, Don't you know that Biggie be shitting on bitches?
Biggie, let's go, baby. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is should Biggie be held accountable for saying that he would shit on a woman?
Yeah.
Should he be held accountable for that? I'm just asking.
So yeah, I mean, it's we got to be honest across the board and understand that entertainment is entertainment.
Yeah, you
Saying
work that art, and shit. Upon me, but Jay Electronica said it one time when he was talking about Raekwon and Ghost. And he was like, you hear them talking about drugs and bitches and guns and everything like that. He was like, but the artistry,
the artistry.
yeah, how it was put together,
Mm.
how it's put together, and like you gotta give the credit where the credit is due. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, to get on that,
Mm.
I always use Coogee Rap as my
Oh,
number.
that's a whole different lane.
G
Mhm.
Rap, G Rap is like
Talk like, oh my
when he
God.
dropped that crime rhyme. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not a gangster. I ain't killed nobody. I don't know nothing about all that. You know what I mean? I'm from the block and all this, and I've seen some things, but I don't know what it's like to be just that dude who's out there smacking dudes up and doing things, right? So when I listen to G Rap, it's like I'm listening to somebody who's really painting a different picture than my life, but a picture of some life that I've seen around me, some picture of people in my own squad act like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, and like you said, it's the artistry, the way he
Yeah.
do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he said, well, he's talking about killing people. Yeah, but did you hear what he said though? And
How
how
he
he
said it,
said it.
how he put it together. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Like, but if you just saying that type of stuff and then you completely whack, you know, then then there's a problem too, because
But
now you're just saying it just to be saying it.
how about check this out? How about if you're saying positive stuff, but you're whack? See, people don't get on people like that. Oh, they said something good, but it's whack. He's like, you might think of it as being whack in your own dome, but because it's
Yeah,
positive, you don't give it the same kind of thing. So it's like
yeah,
Chief was saying, we got to kind of be fair around the board. You know what I mean?
Mm. But don't you guys think though there was an authenticity, and I hate using the old school, new school. Like I don't know where that cutoff point was, but I do feel like when cats was spitting that real about their life, it was authentic because they lived it, right? They were talking about something if they didn't live it specifically.
Some of them lived it.
No doubt,
yeah,
no doubt.
yeah.
It was an uncle or cousin who lived it. And you mentioned something, Coach, as well, with regards to it being entertainment. I think the issue is a lot of kids don't see it as entertainment. They see it as these artists, they see it as these artists, they spitting real and, they keeping it real and, they toting guns and they shooting up, blocks on every second of every day.
Agreed. But I don't think that's the artist's fault. I
No
think
doubt.
that's the community that they live in's fault. I think that's sometimes their parents' fault. I think that's sometimes the school system's fault.
Oh, there
You
you
know what I'm
go.
saying? I'm an educator. One of the most poignant times where I understood that kids didn't know the difference was me working on Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? I was teaching on Rikers Island when
Respect to you, man. Respect.
when Pac got killed, when Pac died, and my students cried the whole time because that was their hero. And they believed everything that he was talking about was a part of not only his persona, but everything that they had. They could not differentiate between what was real, what was stories, what was entertainment. And I think, part of that comes from, I don't want to say it's hope, but it's almost like trying to turn a fantasy. Everyone wants to escape. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And a lot of kids have bad situations that they need to escape from. It's just like with this pandemic. Now all of a sudden they worrying about the kids that's getting left back. Now all of a sudden they worrying about the kids.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You didn't
We
care
wasn't
last.
worrying about that. Why are we worrying about the music? Why don't we worry about putting some money into the education system? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I think that was one of the biggest wastes of time, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to C. Dolores Tucker, but that was one of the biggest waste of time that I've seen. You're attacking music rather than you saying, yo, these schools are inferior. Let's go and tear these schools down. Let's go and put some resources. Why are they not spending money on these kids? Like, we putting our resources towards thinking about rappers for music that the kids shouldn't even be listening to. We worrying about that instead of us attacking the problem. And this is the thing, you know what I'm saying? We do too much scapegoating rather than us saying, yo, the problem exists. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I went to school. I come from a neighborhood that's mostly residential. You know what I'm saying? But the schools are still, most of the schools are still terrible. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? We needed more resources in those schools. So you can even just think about the schools in Brownsville, Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? At parts of Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Baltimore. Why are we not putting our resources towards that and trying to change those situations rather than we blaming, you know,
the weakest segment of the population.
Now we know why that's the case, though. You know, they got that school to prison pipeline, so we know why. You know, we know what the real deal is.
That's a whole nother conversation about industry versus culture. That's a whole different conversation. If we taught hip hop from a cultural perspective rather than just teaching rap, I think we'd make a bigger inroads. Those of us who know. Those of us who are old enough have seen all the parts of the culture and understand that this is a culture, and you know, and rap is just one part of it, and understand that the music is just one part of it. Understand that the industry is there to make money. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you know, we talk about this era, we talk about the guns, we talk about the drugs and all those things. Yo, nobody was mad when they was making money off everybody having a black medallion. That wasn't real for some people either. You know what I'm saying? It was some dudes that was spitting that, and that wasn't their life, and that wasn't what they believed in. They just thought it was gonna make some money, and that's what this is. It's an industry, and it's put out there to make money. However, so if tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, the kids only wanted to listen to conscious rap, then that's what the industry would be putting the money into. You talk about the school to prison pipeline, and we could go into all of that stuff. But you know what I'm saying, we got to find some industries for ourselves and some ways that these industries are going to create jobs and things for other people. You know what I'm saying? VX and me, Sundiata and I, you know, we talk about Hammer, and people say Hammer's a whack rapper or whatever. But the thing is, Hammer wasn't a whack human being. Hammer wasn't a whack businessman. He was somebody who was putting his hood on. He was creating jobs. And a lot of these rappers still today are creating jobs. You know what I'm saying? We may not like the music, but like I said, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the music ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man, you know what I'm saying? You know, picture me sitting around criticizing a 14-year-old for the music that they like or the music that they make. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's not my demographic. You know what I'm saying? That music ain't for me.
Know your demographic. We're gonna have to be like The Rock. Know your role, jabroni. You know what I'm saying? Now, but that, you know, you mentioned tomorrow and the youth, you know what I mean? That's a kind of good segue into what our record was about, Charles. The record is called Tomorrow. And tomorrow is based off today, of course, like dominoes, you know what I'm saying? So in the record, there's lots of different things, you know, that we're dealing with. Ripcord came with the actual, know your role, jabroni. You know what I'm saying? Sexualization. You know, you mentioned tomorrow and the youth, you know what I mean? That's a kind of good segue into what our record was about, Charles. The record is called Tomorrow. It's a little, and tomorrow is based off today, of course, like dominoes, you know what I'm saying? So in the record, there's lots of different things, you know, that we're dealing with. Ripcord came with the actual, know your role, jabroni. Sexualization. You know, you mentioned tomorrow and the youth, you know what I mean? That's the kind of good. For some reason, it's playing over and over, Charles.
Charles.
Say again?
The record.
I can hear like my voice playing over and over.
And tomorrow is based off today, of course, like dominoes, you know what I'm saying? So in the
See what's going on.
last
Yeah.
Remember that happened to us last week?
you know, did with
Yeah. Hold on. Let me
Ripcord came with the actual
We can be quiet, you know. I'll be quiet. And we can get into this. There's a couple of joints on the record that's like kind of stand out. You know what I mean? And I can let them brothers speak on, but
Well,
Come on now.
I'm gonna tell Charles, tell us some of your favorites so we can get into it.
Yeah. Let me you guys don't hear the it's cool now, right?
Yeah. We
Okay.
Sound regular now.
Right. My apologies about that.
Nah, it's all good. We gonna roll with it.
Right. I just think just starting off, watch, it's so like Silencer too, but like the watch is like so in terms of like what's happening now. Minnesota. I mean, it's almost like you guys created that song. It's like it came out at the perfect time, with regards to what's happening now. Like not even in Minnesota, but it's all across the country with regards to police brutality. That song was so powerful. Kind of want to play it for a little bit. Play it for the folks.
Rock that. So as opposed to other things, you're sitting here with the people who actually made this music. So they can't snatch it off. This is our music.
Yes, sir.
The TV is disappointing, the line and finger pointing, sorting through what's important. My demise is not for enjoyment. COVID is ramping up, protests is amping up, police still murder, but it all be on camera. I'm decking the cops, the shady niggas and viruses. The answer is now when you ask me what time it is. Osiris murdered by his brother Brianna by the state. This time is like none other the way they put it in your face. It ain't always the case, but it's more often than not. You look nice in that box, so we're too hot in the cot. And that wasn't me talking, my nigga. Line open, harvest niggas like crops. Got us trapped in the matrix, the black man the most hated. Nigga, bloodline sacred, so you cannot erase it. You might work with my previous, you can still be a racist, bitch. The ball is in our court, who the fuck is you playing with?
What a breath of fresh air, man. Oh, man. You guys want to talk a little bit about the making of that record, inspiration behind it? Obviously, I know the inspiration, but just like, dive a little deeper with regards to that record. Oh, man.
No doubt.
Dope.
My brother Ripcord or Kordic is not on the line, and
that's the MC's Ripcord.
Yeah.
He's out of Decatur, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, he made that track. I mean, he wrote that track. I think Sundiata can talk about the track.
You know what? I wanted to say something about that.
Now, go ahead, Chucky.
Yeah. Like what I wanted to say about that was, I remember when we were getting together and we were talking about it and everything like that. And, he was like, yeah, somebody gonna get on that? Somebody gonna get on that track? And, we were just like, nah, you guys just need to rock out just like that. Yeah. Just as is, we're not even gonna take no chances of getting on it and changing the vibe on it or anything. We're just gonna leave it as is. And and that's what it is, I mean, for me, that's what I think about when I think about that track.
Yeah, I think just to give you some background, this whole project was created during the pandemic, and it was created mostly virtually. I don't think we ever got together to do any of these sessions. So it was a lot of recording in our own spaces and then bringing it together. But we met every week during the pandemic and built, relationships, built creativity and songs, and we moved from there. So this record, for Kordic, it was like, You know what I'm saying? He wanted to kind of really capture everything that he was feeling at the time from what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny, Charles, that you say that it sounds like what's happening now. And that's the unfortunate part because it was written during what was happening in 2020 and it's still happening again in 2021.
Yeah.
Interesting thing is with our situation in this country, we can go back to 1988 and listen to a song and it'll be still on point, still talking about the same issues.
Yeah, fuck the police and all that.
Black cop, and all that in the 90s. Before that, fuck the police, and you know, white lines and all these issues and social ills.
Yeah.
We're still dealing with them today. You know what I mean? So this album is about tomorrow. Are we still going to be talking about these things tomorrow? Are we going to deal with it today? And what kind of tomorrow are we trying to project? Watch what happens next.
That, this was a really watch is one of the interludes for the joint, and we did the interludes, and it like D just said, that's what the interludes spelled out. Watch what happens next. In keeping with tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? With the tomorrow thing.
Yeah, and tomorrow is really, to be honest, tomorrow is really yesterday and today too.
Yeah. And that's the thing, building with Sundiata, constantly discussing with Black folks. And I guess last week we were talking about, the change in the voting rights in Georgia. And my whole thing was, well, listen, man, you know what's going on with regards to the current system that's in place. So if you choose to take part in it, you got to go by the bullshit, right? So, I personally didn't vote in this last election. I had my issues with both candidates. I'll just put that out there. But, when I see Black folks just like cheering and like, yay, we got Biden in there. What the hell are you cheering about? Is there going to be any change in the system? America's still white supremacist. Let's keep it a buck. Nothing's going to change. The bullshit still perpetuates itself. You know what I mean? So until Black folks, we just awaken to the fact that, listen, we're at war. We don't want to be at war, but folks are at war with us. So until we get the realization, okay, I'm at war, so what am I going to do about it? The definition of insanity, just continue doing the same thing, expecting a different result. If you're going to continue just bang your head on the wall, trying to get someone to love you who doesn't love you, I don't know what to tell you. We got to start building for ourselves. There is no savior outside of yourself, at this point. So
brother Bill,
just get that reasoning, get that knowledge of self. It's just, we're going to be in perpetual bullshit continuously. They're just playing on our heartstrings because, this just happened, in Minneapolis a couple of days ago. There's going to be something else next week, then a week after that, then a week after that, until we take control of ourselves. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that song is powerful.
Well, I think you mentioned, continuing to be on the wheel and continue to be on the spinning cycle and all of those different things. I think, it's poignant what you said, and, having somebody else love us. I think that's the whole thing, man. That's the problem. That's what's missing is love, especially self-love. You know what I'm saying? We're not teaching the babies to love themselves. You know what I'm saying? Teaching everybody to look outside of themselves.
And we're not teaching them to not only have their self-love, but to dare to think about things differently. Because, like the way that we have been doing things has not been very successful.
No doubt.
In a certain way, yeah.
And it's been very tedious and slow moving, but I think sometimes just a shift in how we think, I think that will help us a lot,
to build on that, Charles, you said something about I think Coach too, something about people who don't love you and not wasting your time and all of that. There was a line that Ripcord said in The Silencer. There was about the brutality that was happening to us wasn't testament to our inferiority, but to somebody else's inhumanity.
And that's James Baldwin.
Yeah, that's James Baldwin. So I was maybe we can check that out real quick. This what we've been talking about. The silence actually speaks to that.
Let's do it.
Mhm.
Please try to remember that what they believe, as well as what they do and cause you to endure, does not testify to your inferiority, but to their inhumanity.
APD on strike cause they can't murder with impunity. Virus plus a lawless society, I guess we soon to see the violence of presidential tyrant. That shit ain't new to me. Your silence is compliance and you look like a mute to me. 1814 we was hanging from trees. It's 20 fucking 20, it's been 6 and 4 weeks. I thought all lives matter but you ain't uttered a peep. Propaganda and victim slander, the tricks of the sleeves. You think I give a fuck if both them giants smoke weed when it's a bitch at your door, but she got the wrong keys. Face down in the road to my neck is your knees. Can't even take a nap in parking lot of Wendy's. No, not warmers don't happen where you reside. If it was Becky, not Brianna, bet she still be alive. We done swallowed our pride, but it's tasting like shit. And you still contemplating if racism exists. Equality what we want, but you wanna pretend. We off that now, next time is revenge. Next time is revenge.
How can one respect, let alone adopt, the values of a people who do not, on any level, whatever, live the way they say they do, or the way they say they should?
Yeah. Me and my squadron, melanin poppin', knowledge is constant, my horror stay watching. Green juice and tea, fought away toxins, health the only option. Yo, see the devil still plotting, ain't this rock bottom? Between the hate and corona, too many us dropping. I seen the video, once again here we go, blatant murder, familiar scenario. My tribe on this quest, I don't think y'all hear me though. Out for a job, a nigga, how dare he though? No justice, the muskets is loaded and cocked, but they aimed at the block, not the crackers or cops. I don't advocate suicide, just survival for you and I. Who can I lean on when another stormtrooper die? Trying to stay war ready, but I'm tired already. The US or Aleppo, which one is more deadly? Houseway, black man trying to live beyond Babylon in this outbreak. Fuck what the crowd say. We gotta think critical for our kids and for our sake. For our sake.
Hatred, which could destroy so much, never failed to destroy the man who hated, and this was an immutable law.
Some of y'all is thinking rotten, ready and soon forgotten. They forgotten who built this shit, now we remember who killed us, shit. Never been a slave, I was enslaved. Never minority, I'm too major. Though them evil honkies took my ancestors' labor, killed their family and neighbors, took all their resources and just gave them a savior. This ain't rioting, it's insurrection. I ain't a hater, this is self-protection. Keep going. Word. Not vandalism, it's the fight for public space. The battle to decide who really belong in this place. She got a phone in her hand to protect her from my race. And I'm like, yo, why the fuck are you on my case? This symbolic violence, violent shit. And white silence let you know exactly where you sit and whose side it is. Yo, they even hate your kids until it's kid for kids. Till you ready to do a bit, they gonna do what they always did. But me and mines is done dying, the crosses is done frying. Decided to give up Zion, became a lion that ain't lying, fighting for me and mine. Something just done, there ain't no compromising.
The most dangerous creation of any society is the man who has nothing to lose. The impossible is the least that one can demand.
Noise is brought to the stage. ways, different phases of rage. Dumb down minds and numb to the some can't gauge. The angle of the stranglehold on the young and old, the bold and those ready to fold. To the many layers of this onion, this ghoul takes fools to his dungeon, where he drags in the ways and actions of an out of control dragon, destroying the town to the sound of oppressed silence. Depressed reliance on privileged compliance. Let me break it down. Check this out. If I run up on your house, I like it, wanna stay. Can I do it fluid if that's where your head lay? I look around, my head spin, world looks like a Mad Max movie, quantum leapt in. It's gonna spin whether we out or in. To fight thinking is the real sin. That make it easy for demons to reel us in. Accept this, obey that. Don't believe what you see with your eyes if you could see. Smoke this, sniff that, rock this shit here, and it's a wrap. Automatic push button, flat screen and lying and scheming while I keep you dreaming with no plan. For all I can rattle, laser focus your battle. What'll get you straight-o, have me cracking it with potato. Silence up.
Life is tragic, simply because the earth turns and the sun inexorably rises and sets. And one day, for each of us, the sun will go down for the last time.
Dope. Oh man. I'm going to give you guys some pushback, man. I feel like as an artist, if you're not dope enough to come up with lyrics like that, you shouldn't be an MC, and you're not an MC in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And even without trying, like I wouldn't even consider this conscious rap. To me, this is hip hop. You just dropping jewels in there, just like in the midst of just talking. Like never minority, I'm a majority. Like even the bar with regards to Tribe Called Quest, like you're dropping jewels in there, and it's just. Oh man, I feel like every artist, I need to hear some jewels in there. I gotta hear something to be an MC. Man, it's just, man.
Well, I mean, we are artists of a certain age, you know what I'm saying? And coming out the era that we came out of, that was a given that you had to give, you had to have that. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, I'm not when I bring up points, I'm not arguing your point. I'm somewhat playing devil's advocate, but also trying to be inclusive and understand. I always tell my students, what I'm saying, and I'm an educator, and I always tell them it's more important to reflect than to criticize, because reflection leaves room for growth. You know what I'm saying? Like if I criticize you, I'm just beating you down to a pulp and pummeling you and making you smaller than you are. When we sit down and we reflect, then it's like, what can we do better? What can we try to do? And I think there's a lot of people who criticize, but not enough people that give artists or other people an opportunity to grow. And that's what I try to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of rap critics. I wish that there were a lot of more people who engaged in hip hop reflection.
You know what I mean? Hey, can you tell me, Coach Cheeks, what is the symbols of the Dirty Book Records? What are those symbols mean?
Well, when we think about Dirty Book, first of all, respect to Dirty Bookman and the Haitian Revolution. So, and that's something that, both Charles and I just finished going back and rereading the Black Jacobins, in which my man CLR James just broke down so beautifully the Haitian Revolution. But we have the tools of the trade. So we have the scimitar, which you can talk about that a little bit. But if you understand our people, in the Caribbean and Africa, the machete is not just something that you use to cut people up. You also use it to cultivate the land. You know what I'm saying? So there's a sharpness to that sword that's going to have to do with the lyrics, and also have to do with the building and the cultivation, you know, and therefore we have the farm tools as well because we're trying to cultivate. We have the headphones for the music, and we have the book because we are very much so a literary group to a certain extent. You know, we try to be as well-read brothers, but mostly the book can be something that you read, but also something you write into because we're very much about the pen and the writing too.
That cracker book is real too. That cracker book is
Oh
real.
man,
Yes, sir.
that's the original Dirty Book, man.
That's fine.
That's the other, you know. And if Charles want to talk a little bit about Dirty.
But that's what I wanted to call the cracker book. See, but since I'm not on that song, I didn't have any say. I didn't have any say. You know, like I wanted to call that song "Dirty Book." You know,
Dirty Book, yeah.
But luckily, the company is called Dirty Book
See,
now.
you won in the end, Marone.
Yeah, I won in the end.
He won the war, not the battle.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, that song. You know, like it brings up so many different things that you know, like just different pieces of work. You know, that we need, and you know, like, and I like the fact that the Chiefs brought up a lot of books that are not necessarily Black culture, but things that you can read to improve your life and make yourself better. You know, it's a nice little, you know, if you think of this this project as a literary work, this would be the bibliography, basically.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
What were some of the books that stood out to you, Marone, or any of y'all? What were some of the titles, you know, in that song? And maybe
there's so many.
You mentioned the ISIS papers, of course. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Coming off of Women's History Month, I think it's really good that, you know, we honor, you know, Dr. Rawson, you know what I'm saying, and for her work and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, you got the eyes are watching God by, you know, one of my goddesses, you know, one of the ancestors, you know, she is so deep, and she's an anthropologist, author, everything else, Zora Neale Hurston, you know what I'm saying? I tried to throw in some of my man Donald Goines, and again, you know what I'm saying? This is the thing, Charles, when you talk about young people, we got to meet them where they are. As I said, I taught at Rikers Island, and it would have been cool for me to come in and bring in Shakespeare or even Alice Walker or somebody, but them brothers wanted to read some Donald Goines, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And all I was caring about was getting them to read. I wasn't caring about what they read.
Just crack a book.
Exactly.
Have a crack a book, team.
Half a crack a book. You know
I think I'm spoiled, man, because I grew up in that golden age of hip hop. I guess I'm spoiled, man. I sort of got that knowledge from Nas and like all these great artists, and it's just that, you know, that made me want to read about James Baldwin. That made me want to read Invisible Man and, you know, all these great artists. Yeah, Malcolm X. So I guess I'm spoiled in that sense, and I'm just looking at young people now. I mean, like, you know, who's the artist that can sort of give them that knowledge itself just for the balance? I guess you could get it from Kendrick, you know, you get it from J. Cole.
Joey Badass.
Yeah.
Joey Badass.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm
J. Cole.
I vibe off of Cyrock too. I like
Cyrock.
Cyrock.
You know, I like what No Name is doing as a person, even more than just an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's not getting enough credit. Here's this young lady who was a rapper, a young rapper making book lists for kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know why we don't big up that? We worrying about Cardi, and we not worrying about what No Name is doing. We not giving her props. We trying to push down a young lady instead of us elevating somebody who's doing what we want. The thing is, people want all these things, but they never go to the artists that do the things that they want. They always look at the artist that's not doing anything that they want to get out of it.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me.
A kid named D Smoke out there who from
D Smoke is the truth, man.
D Smoke is nasty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he talks
Yeah, he's
positive. You
nasty.
know what I mean?
He's a teacher too. He's a teacher
Yeah,
too.
I
Yeah.
heard he was a teacher too. And I
You
hear
know
some
what I'm saying?
X teachers as well.
Yeah,
Slam
that's what I'm
teacher.
saying. There's people out here that do, if you, like Kojic always says, whatever you want to find in hip hop is out there. And it don't matter what era it is, it's out there.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
look for it, you'll find it. But you
Yeah.
can't let the radio be the thing that's going to tell you what's happening.
There you go.
Because the thing is, we've given, you talked earlier about power. We've given too much power to the record labels and the radio. We took the
Mhm.
power back in the day. They had to listen to the streets. They had to listen to the kids to figure out what was dope. Now we let them determine what's dope. People that half the time don't look like us, don't come from our culture, don't do any of those things. We allow them to tell us what's dope instead of us saying, yeah, well, yo, let's go look for what we want, and they're gonna have to come back around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. And I mean, you establish what you want in hip hop. I let one of my mans hear this joint, and I was like, "Oh, call me back and let me know what you think." And then I was like, "Nah, never mind, never mind." Like because I don't really care what you think. I mean, if you like it, that's cool. Like I like it if you can vibe off of it. But you know, I put out what I wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? And I think we're all on that same page. Like the lane, creating the lane for what you want to hear. In whatever era you're in. Like I mean, a lot of the young folks, like they haven't heard anything else. I mean, like you said, we're spoiled, Charles. Like you said, we're spoiled because um, we got to hear people like Kwame and Public Enemy and NWA and what's the name? And Super Lover C and Casanova Rut. Like people that I mean,
It was dope.
people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean, shoot, even the Redhead Kingpin. Like I mean, you got a whole bunch of people that were in a whole bunch of different lanes, and like, and nobody disrespected anybody else's lane. But now it's a lot of the same thing. It's like there's a template, and you know, an industry person just takes it and he puts it into the template, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I gotta big up those sisters from Brooklyn too, Oshun. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I fucks with
They
that.
dealing with the culture, they dealing with the African spirituality, they dealing with the 5% knowledge, all of that. And again, that's like I said, we want to downplay Cardi rather than lifting up the sisters that's doing it. And Cardi is the one that's lifting up the other sisters, and we putting her down. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Cardi is the one that will say, "Yo, you can listen to Oshun."
You know what?
Mhm.
Check it out though. We talked about Cardi on the show before, right? And it's well, not really Cardi, but just a situation. And y'all bringing up the fact that Cardi is bringing up positive. Well, I won't even say positive versus negative because there
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
again.
That's a different
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah, just a different perspective. And like I said, I like the song. I like that song, and I like a couple of the joints I heard from her. As a matter of fact, the first joint she came out with Kodiak Black, what
Yeah,
it was,
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
What
joint.
is it? Something yellow. What is it?
Yeah,
Kodak
something like
yellow or
that. Yeah.
something like that.
Well, anyway, but to my point is that the sisters, you made a point about the sisters in hip hop today. Really, some of the rawest MCs are them sisters. You know what I mean? If you talk
Sierra
about
Whack. Yeah, there's a lot
consciousness
of them.
plus
Yes,
skills and all that flow and all that,
Rhapsody.
sisters is coming.
Oh,
Rhapsody's my
Rhapsody.
girl, no doubt.
Woo! I'll
So
put her against any dude out there, pretty much. I
you know,
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
now
definitely.
that note,
Rhapsody. Woo!
on that note, what we was trying to do in our album was recognize the sisters. And if I could make a suggestion, one of the songs on the album that bigged up the sisters was called Earthseed. And
Yeah, I like that track. Nice.
it was made for that one came, I had an idea and talked to the brothers about it. We talked about how the sisters weren't getting their due props and the sisters was constantly getting disrespected and this and that. And I felt like it's time for men to let our sisters know how we feel about them. There's a whole lot of side stuff going on. And if we don't peep what's popping, a lot of our sisters is step into others' lanes. They're changing teams. They, they hopping fences. I'm using all types of metaphors here, but you can read between the lines. So I'm saying everything besides coming back to us. And that's our Earthseed. So, that's why we made this song.
Swap with that.
Off a chime from a vine from the mother of Frankenstein. Kinda deep as I pined it, being open-minded, you find that a Y is an X, but missing a leg, like X the Stargate, and Y the long peg, the staff, or just a joystick if you're blinded. Rewind what I said, let it settle, and it's better than a self-med. We talk being ruler, we talk being king, we talk being the first human being, looming, creating, not just consuming. Kingdom come to ruin, cause some of the things we was doing to reclaim the emperor, you gotta set correct the specs with the empress. She waters the seed, without her, you self-sealed in this wilderness with no way to express a future self-nuff test. Unordinarily important if you ain't supporting self-abortion. Fish ain't a Friday fetish, just cause it's delish, or in the water, the way it sway and swish. Dreamfish, new life in the mix. Deeper grasshopper, water womb proper is runway to touch earth. Turf less you a doppelganger. Uplift your queen is more than just a banger. Or put her in an emotional torture chamber. This happened, then we wonder why the world gets stranger. And the stranger better change up, better lift your yin while you got your yang up. We grow up, forget all of the sudden from where you came. Check your belly button. Why Hollywood seeing a happy black man and woman together is a hang up. Brothers, heed the needs of the earth seed. Without her, can't breathe, can't breathe.
I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine, perfect light.
I love your smart mouth, you know what I'm talking about. Making sure I'm living out the plan of the people. They call you loud and angry, otherwise they can't see you. Can't imagine being you. Say her name, say her name. She treated with disdain. Athlete gets some bread and he kick her out the game. Entertainer marry white, he loses effing brain. The color of the earth, so they saying that she plain. Her gun turned to hot and taught the bitch to thought. If you give a little time, I love, I swear you not. We cry for fathers, uncles, brothers, sons. But who cries for y'all when it's all said and done? I love you, mama, from Tawana to Brianna. Eleanor Bumpers, yeah, we miss you, Sandra. We gotta thank you, Patrice for Alicia. Going against Melissa. Black Lives Matter, respect the black girl yoga and black girl magic. And girl track walking the path of Harriet. Rose nest not stop till the queens have it. And when I say have it, I'm talking about justice. Woman is the greatest thing God ever put on the land. The only one alive that protect the black man. From when you pick a knee, saying mama hold my hand, to when you're feeling scared and she make you be a man. The unprotected weapon shield from hate and stressing. The system trying to get him and she right there with him. Let's pray to God that she keep on feeling them, cause they got the same blues and got the same rhythm.
My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I gazed on the forest and burned out the Sahara Desert. With a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes, I crossed it in 2 hours. I am a gazelle. So swift, you can't catch me. You can't catch me. You can't catch me.
Something deep to remember her by. The wind beneath my wings if I venture to fly. Her divine forces, who the source is. Her intuition, she extra cautious. Hold her fam down when we suffer losses. Man, give her respect, she birthed all this. Godspeed, the goddess.
Mommy, you gorgeous. Earth seed, all I need, you deserve it all, sis. No need for these choices. We can celebrate Rosa and Claudette, Nikki, Maya, and Paulette. Better known as Antizaki for colored girls who was told they could never be cover girls until I fallen. Their babies ballin'. We need justice for Latasha, Corey, and all them. When it comes to the brothers, we all in. But when it's time for the women, we pausing. Now cipher, what type of betrayal? That's a huge fail. Nigga go to jail, need bail, or kites in the mail. She got him. His lady get locked. To the whole fam, that's a problem. The caretaker, air maker, mover and shaker, the money maker, not for shaking. I mean for bringing home the bacon. She not your superwoman, not your rib. Let go the ego, take off that bib. We got to grow up.
I turned myself into myself and was Jesus, men intoned my loving name. All praises, I am the one who would save. I sow diamonds in my backyard. My bowels deliver uranium. The filings from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. The hair from my head thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky.
Big up, brother Cochise on them beats.
Respect. And I gotta big up Nikki Giovanni, you know, and
Yeah.
that poem,
What's that, Phenomenal Woman? Oh,
ego
tripping. Yeah, ego tripping.
And also, when we talk about Earthseed, I gotta big up Octavia Butler too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's, that whole concept of Earthseed comes from her books of, Parable of the Talents and Parable of the Sower.
Yeah. God is change.
God is change.
Charles, you're on mute.
I am?
My apologies. Listen, man, there was a lot of knowledge dropped on that track. Oh man, you guys want to dive a little deeper in terms of like the references which were sort of sparked the writing of that record. Powerful record.
Well, I gotta give all respect to D. You know what I'm saying? Sundiata. He wanted to do something for the ladies. You know what I'm saying? We could have just did something. Saying that and just rocked out and talked about our attraction and how beautiful they are, but we wanted to be able to just talk about some of the other dimensions and some of the ways that we, I don't want to say mistreat women, but sometimes we don't give them their proper due. We don't give them that respect. I think for my record, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can celebrate, Rosa and Claudette Colvin. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to lift one up and put the other down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a big fan of, Entezaki Shange and all of these women. So I wanted to big them up while also bigging up the women in our culture and how they hold all of us down. And, I'm reading Audre Lorde right now. So, I just, like she always says, we can't dismantle the system with the master's tools. And I think a lot of times the master, and I don't want to say master, but the system is designed to divide and conquer. And they kind of set us up against the women. And we was trying to, build bridges. A lot of this record, so when we talk about tomorrow, how are we going to get tomorrow? We need that bridge to walk across, and we need to build bridges rather than burn them down.
Truth. Wow. Sure.
Tucky, what was you talking about in your rhyme?
I think when I was speaking, I wanted to bring to the forefront that the women are basically in a lot of situations are the leaders, in our struggles. and they're at the forefront of changing the ideology. That's what I'm sticking with, in this call, like new ways of thinking, and they, like, so that's why I had to bring up, Black girl yoga, Black girl magic, and even the Black Lives Matter, you know, had to bring all of that up because those are all things and programs started by women. And Girl Track, of course, and how I admired a lot how Girl Track went and walked the path that Harriet Tubman walked to, like they imitated that, and they had Black women doing it, and they had little sessions for women, helping to build them up and helping to develop them. I loved it, and and I think there's one line I have in there would say, God went from hot and tot to bitch to thought.
I love that line.
You know, yeah, it's a dope. Yeah, that is a dope line.
Also,
but the dopest line in there for me personally is, "Why is the X just missing a
no
leg?"
doubt.
I love that line.
No doubt, for real.
Respect. I like the line where you said when your mama hold your hand, make you be a man. Something like that. That one touched me because a lot of us have that ma-son relationship. You know what I'm saying? And
Definitely,
it's a very deep link. And a lot of us forget it when we grow up. You know what I mean? I mentioned that, we grow up, we get all big and whatnot, and your mom's is, this little lady and whatever. And some men forget, hey man, when you was a little tiny boy, that's who was there to protect you and feed you and do all that good stuff. Now you got large, you're supposed to be a backbone, and you turning on her. A line that I love what Coach said. He said something about if the sister gets locked, you know what I mean? No, if the brother gets locked, the sister got him. You know what I mean? She's gonna take care of that. But as soon as she runs into problems, we start fronting. The brothers get in trouble, we rally behind them, but the sisters get in trouble and we act like it's nothing. He was like, that's like, what kind of betrayal is that? I thought about that a lot, and that's how sisters feel. They feel like we're betraying them or leaving them out there. So now they're looking for Penub in all the wrong places. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's important. I think it's important to always understand that, that's one of the biggest populations. You talked about the prison, the school to prison pipeline, and they're getting the sisters right now, and we're not acknowledging that. A lot of more suspensions for the sisters, and a lot more sisters getting locked up, and we're not talking about that at all. You know what I'm saying?
Coach, in the schools, man, y'all know it. Sometimes the women are way more vicious than the dudes.
Woo! And in the prisons too.
Oh man.
It's twisted. But see, think about it. The enemy knows that a nation can rise no higher than this woman, right? We know this. The other thing is that if you look at the stats with education, sisters is at the top of the ladder, and got so much post-traumatic stress, trauma, you know what I'm saying? But they still rising above. So, and it's like, and we are too. You know what I'm saying? It's just the foot is down on our neck a little bit heavier, sometimes literally. You know what I'm saying? So the sisters got to understand that. That's that bridge that we got to have. Okay, y'all are doing all right. You know what I'm saying? Even though you have issues too, but don't turn your back on the brothers. Like, we ain't going to turn our back on you. Don't forget that while y'all were doing some things and you're under oppression too, we getting us the shit kicked out of us on a regular basis. It's like, you know what I mean? Like the dude was getting beat up by a group. You know what I mean? A crew rolls on the dude, and then his girls are at the side like, leave alone. Now, some of them sisters, we got to get in there and start knocking up with you. And those are the ones who don't front on us.
Well, yeah, I think the other thing is we be a little harder on the sisters than we be on the brothers sometimes too.
You're right.
We got to be honest about that as well. And I think that's the thing, even,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we always find there's something problematic with the sexual music of the young ladies, but there's a lot more sexual music that's created by men. And we don't have a problem. Or, like, I was talking to one of my younger sisters today, you know what I'm saying? One of my good friends, and she was just talking about the fact that, you know what I'm saying, her husband can't wait for her son to start dating, and he doesn't want anybody to talk to his daughter. And I think we got to be honest about the things that we do in terms of raising kids. You know what I'm saying? I hate to hear, you know, a young man who's under 10 being referred to as a pimp and all this other nonsense that we be doing sometimes is really crazy. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop sexualizing both sexes, not just women. You know what I'm saying?
And when you think about it, like, if you raise your daughters to be a certain way, you're not raising them for any man in your society, because we're raising the men to be another way.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, so we basically, you know, contributing to the cycle of single motherhood, or just singleness, or you know, making them destined to be alone. You know, because they're not going to settle for a certain thing. You know,
They're not going to have the grace. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We got to have the grace on both sides. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
They catch it on both ends as far as sexuality all the time, because when we were growing up, it's all right if you banging all the women when you're a dude. You know what I mean? Your uncles and all that, they give you props. Oh, my nephew's no joke. He got all the girls, right? But let your niece be out there. You got a whole bunch of dudes that are like, yo, nah, son, we gotta save her. She's out there slutting and hoeing. It's like there's a whole nother perception, but they're doing the exact same thing.
Well, I think even sexuality is something we got to discuss more, and I think we're leaving all our kids out without having the conversations about relationship, without having the conversation about sexuality, and without having the conversations about what makes a good partner for either one. And unfortunately,
I think in this microwave, I'm sorry to cut your wisdom, in this microwave society, it's so much just easy access for kids, you know, like if they want to just like, you know, watch a video they should not be watching, you just click on their phone, go to Google, boom, in 2 seconds. We had to like literally search hard to get something, you know what I mean? We went to like catch a magazine or something, but we had to like, you know, go through certain things to try to get that. Whereas now it's a totally different time.
No, when we was coming up, we had to somebody had a magazine, and this dude had it this week. Yo, man, I get it next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why is it greasy?
All right, moving on.
Word up.
And that's another thing though about my brothers. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of fun doing this. So it's not all just, we'll just get serious and everything. And I think that's the whole thing about hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Let's bring it back to being about fun, you know what I'm saying? You know, but this album was really built on the enjoyment of making it, but also built on, you know, being able to think about critically about what's going on.
Cool. So real quickly, can you guys talk about like the creative process? So obviously you guys weren't together because, you know, it was developed, you know, during COVID last year. So you want to talk a little bit about in terms of like, you know, the rhyme schemes and sort of like the competitive juices between y'all, you know, it's all in good fun, but you still want to, you know, put that goodish out there, you know what I mean? So you guys want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't think this was so much a competitive as a collaborative, not saying, because, you know, I think everybody wants to get their stuff off or get their, you know, really get their shine. It's just grace, you know, like I said, grace. I'm blessed to be in a crew with some dudes that have these kind of lyrical skills, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure everybody
to be in that
wants
same
to
creative space.
Everybody wants to shine, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Chucky and me come from a time where, you know, we would battle each other, you know what I'm saying, in the crew, but we don't do that as much now, I don't think, as we did back then. I don't think there was any competitive, you know, everybody wanted to shine, but I don't think we brought it to each other that way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
There was no us and them in this
yeah,
thing. You know, it was all, you know, we and us, you know, like, and
yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, like we were really just trying to see how can we get this idea out? How can we get that idea out? You know, and, you know, and I really have to big up Coach East good, man, because, you know, he facilitates the meetings, you know,
every week,
every week
every
we
week,
got a beat pack, right? We got, I mean,
literally.
I mean, like sometimes be like 20 beats and shit. And it'd be like just to choose from, just to see anything that anybody vibe off. You know, like I mean, because we're not trying to be no big superstars. So, you know,
Right.
like so he puts all this together and you know, like and you know, like say like one day I'm sitting there, I might do, you know, like I do like marathon sessions. So, you know, like I might go in there and I might do 5 joints, you know. Um, you know, somebody else might do something 2, 3, or 1, or what have you, and then they be like, "Yeah, who wants to get on?" You know, and so whatever's been done for that week, you know, that gets played too, and so we listen, and you know, it's a nice vibe. It's a
Yeah.
nice vibe. You know, it's no competition, no competition at
Yeah,
all.
to add on to that, man, I'm from the Solar Panel, and the Solar Panel is a lot of MCs. I don't even know how many of us there are all together, but all of the MCs that rhyme are all competitive. They're all, I won't say they're all battle MCs, but they don't have no problem battling, and a lot of the stuff they do is about ripping MCs' necks off. So I kind of came up with that that culture. I don't rhyme like that, but you know what I'm saying? I'm used to that. And so when I rolled up with these young brothers here, I mean, and I saw the skill that I was around, the maturity. It was the maturity that brought me in because everybody in here saw that the skill that we've been given or that we've developed is to be used for a larger purpose. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Tomorrow is a larger purpose album. It's not just about us saying, yo, we nice on the mic. We talking about what's popping. We talking about visualization into the future. And this is things that we need to do. So we had a focus on this thing and we weren't trying out. Well, I know I can speak for me. I wasn't out trying to shine nobody. Matter of fact, I was sitting back reveling in the skill of my brethren. Hey, I might
Yeah,
come over there reveling in the skill of my brethren. I like that.
yeah.
Dropping bars without
Keep
dropping
that,
bars, man.
keep that one, keep that one. You know, look, I mean, and you know, and to piggyback on what he said, you know, it's like I really just felt good to be in these dudes' creative space, man. You know, like I felt privileged. I felt privileged, you know, like to hear, you know, to hear them and hear what they came up with or what have you. You know, like it was like sometimes there might be some beat, and I was like, I can't do nothing with that. And I hear Sundiata come on it, and I'm like, oh, well, let me do this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you know, like there's one song that is one of my favorite on the joint. It's called Black Colossus.
Mhm.
You know, and I think that song came together almost by accident.
It did.
Yeah, because we both heard that beat, and so I made something to it, and he made something to it, and we sort of like sent it in at the same time.
Let me add. What happened was he did something, and I heard it, and I was like, "Yo, I wrote a song about
Oh
something
yeah, that's right.
similar."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And then we were like, "Okay, well, let's put it together." But it did come off kind of nice. We were talking about black empowerment, so-called black empowerment with money. You know what I'm saying? For those who haven't heard the record, Black Colossus. I love the way he titled it, Black Colossus. It got this Superman vibe, like big big brother walking around, stomping down, you know what I'm saying, capitalist, imperialist buildings and whatnot. You know what I'm saying, the Black Colossus. But I don't know if you want to give it a listen, but
Yes, sir. That's a great segue, man. If you guys don't mind, let's rock with it. Let's go.
Come on. Black Colossus. Let them know it's you. Chucky, baby. BX, let's go. Black Colossus. Let's go.
lounging at the castle, doing my own thing, cooling with the queen. Cause I know I'm a king. On a Saturday, couldn't have been a fatter day, so we watched to exist and check Netflix. I ran across Luke Cage and Bushmaster beefing for boss. Then I switched my psych to the joint with Killer Mike. Inspired, cause we tired, always being last hired, first fired. So the brother tried to go 3 days economically black, and what he found out about was all the things we lack. This ain't new to me, but was too true to see. We don't produce a lot in our community. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, others are making plans on how to get our guap in their hands. We got a peep game, get out the sleep game. It's a shame we willing to kill and maim. Peeps of one blood and look the same. Gotta change, rearrange. Shouldn't seem strange to spend your fiat notes plus change with your people on Black Fridays. If you wanna be a Black Colossus.
I'm feeling good, y'all. Through my pain and losses, come to find out, I'm the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Stepping over pimps, players, and bosses. Come to find out, I'm the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Economic hustle, black banks and susus, investment groups, and we bring it back to voodoo. He, she, we, them, me, and you, or should I say you and I, T-Y. I'm looking super hella fly in black designs. I can read your mind, you think I lost my mind, but I finally recognize what's yours and mine. And if you ask the right question, bet you seek and find. George Washington Carver, growing food together collective. The most rebellious thing is to change perspective. New gods, new ideologies, new black psychology, community yourself. Good food and arms to protect our health. Looking to each other, we the source of wealth. Mama sweet gospel, daddy's hardcore blues. The old school DJ on the ones and twos. My mic sounds nice, check one. My mic sounds nice, check two. You ask me what it is and I'ma tell you what it do. A real black alive coming straight to you. I'm feeling good, y'all, through my pain and losses. Come to find out, I'm a Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Stepping over pimp players and bosses. Come to find out, I'm the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Get your mind up, keep your eyes up. If you're going against the guard, get your size up. Recognize the game, see your brain is tied up. They're playing with you, homeboy, you better wise up.
So how to put a finger in the dike of the flood of money running out of the hood every day and night. My hidden enemy don't want me to find remedy. Talking long term, not soft perm like going Yosemite Sam. We remember Tulsa fam. Never forget the pulse of where we come from. That's why you rockin' to these drums. Dethroned, overthrown. Nobles in a stronghold. Wrestling a demon, but we got them in the wrong hold. Everything we need, we already got. Just gotta learn to love each other and put it in the pot, show you right. Gotta teach your kids to start biz and more important, learn to support when it's just as good or better. Fool, find a black biz to give your cheddar to. Circulate and circulate, that's how you return to being great.
I'm feeling good, y'all, through my pain and losses. Come to find out, I'm a Black Colossus. Come on, you a Black Colossus. Come on, you a Black Colossus. Stepping over pimps, players, and bosses. Come to find out, I'm the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. I'm feeling good, y'all, through my pain and losses. Come to find out, I'm a Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Come on, you the Black Colossus. Stepping over pimps, players, and bosses. Come to find out, I'm the Black Colossus. Come on.
Dope. Oh man. Quickly, something that just popped into my head. You guys want to talk about the science of like creating a rhyme scheme really quickly, because the genius of that song not only is the lyrics that's being spit, but just like the hook You know what I mean? Like if your song has a good hook, you got it, right? So, and then that hook sort of like ties each one of the artists there together within the song. So you guys want to talk a little bit about, the science of like creating a rhyme scheme, because, obviously with my school, that's definitely something that I want, my students to delve into as well, future artists, with regards, you don't just want to come out there without understanding the science and the mathematics with regards to how to rhyme and how to, sort of put things together. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit about that process and what that process is for you specifically.
Well, Chucky, if you could go in on the hook, son.
Well, like my process is not real cerebral. It just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I just make sure that it's in fours. Like because.
So give me a little more. Why 4 specifically?
Because 4. When you count to 4, that's how you separate bars. Like I'm feeling good. It's like I'm feeling good, y'all. Through my pain and losses. Come to find out, I'm the black losses. That's 4 2 times. Come on, you the black losses. Come on, you the black loss. And then like, and so it's like, geez, help me, please.
All right. And that's the thing. I think for all of us, it's a little bit different. And my process has become much more about trying to do the inner rhyme scheme. Trying to get almost all the words in terms of the syllables and get them matched up. But like what he's talking about is just counting the bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is really counting one bar and just going on from there. Some people do it where they're going to match up the snares. I even saw an MC the other day who matches up the snares in terms of the way he sets up the paper and the way that it, almost like separating it into 4 spaces in terms of the way he writes. For me, I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying? The more things that rhyme, it creates the flow for me and the patterns. So I'll rhyme inside the verse. So, of course, the N word will rhyme, and with the next bar, the N word on that. But then I'm trying to do a rhyme scheme within the scheme. And then a lot of times when I start back over, I'm even going to try to rhyme my last word with the first word of the next bar as well. So it's a lot. It becomes rather complicated, but mainly, counting those bars and making sure that you figure out the pattern, whether it's going to be A B A B or A B B, or whichever way you're going to do it. So I think our styles are very different. I think that's kind of what makes the album. For me, it's really about the rhyme scheme in terms of the internal rhymes, as I said, and some of those things. But it's also going to be about making that substance too. You know what I'm saying? Chucky, when you talked about that hook, he's a very rhythmic type of dude. So he's going to, like, when he count, even where he counts the bars, he's going to be talking about that rhythm. You know what I'm saying?
It's genius. It's a perfect hook. I mean, it's genius. I mean, he made that look at it because it came so easy for you, but just hearing it, man, I mean, it's not as, it's genius.
It really made the song. It really made the song.
It really did.
And, I'm a little bit more abstract.
Well, thank you, brother.
So, what I'm saying? I think that's why we complement each other, a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Because we have so many different styles.
Yeah.
We're going to say something else, go ahead.
You're talking about letters and count. My style is dyslexic. You know what I'm saying? I can't really explain my process. I will say I ain't trying to be mystic or different. I'm just saying that, like, I let my pencil talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like somewhere there's some energy or force that's coming through my hand is telling me what to say. So I just write it down. A lot of times it's in silence. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's to the beat. Sometimes it's to some other beat that I end up putting it to this, you know what I mean? But a lot of times I write rhymes in silence, you know what I mean? It's different. It's sometimes I might hear a track that inspires me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll write to this beat, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I get some of my more rhythmic flows. But then sometimes I just write in silence, and then I sort of make the beat. I guess I make my rhyme fit the beat.
Yeah, and they talked about the beat pack, so I'm not sure. Like the silencer, I think the project started with the silencer, and I had made this beat for the silencer, and I don't know, for some reason Kojic was just tripping off the beat, and it was just a beat to me. It was just regular, but he was like, he could, he really was vibing off of it. So at some point, you know, he likes to play around a lot, so he'll try things out, and I think for him, he just was, messing with James Baldwin at that point, and he decided to put that thing in, with the James Baldwin thing. So it started kind of with the Baldwin, and it went on from there. So when D says, I'm writing to the beats, I just try to, when you talked about competitiveness, I think a lot of us compete with ourselves. So
Right.
Yep.
for me, I'm really just trying to outdo myself on the beats, but really Silencer, that beat, it just was something that I just created a vibe. I didn't even consider people rhyming off of it, you know what I'm saying? And he did something and I was like, oh, okay, I see. And that's the other thing, like I think, D is somebody who adapts to both the slower beats and the faster beats. It's sometimes a hard chore to get Chucky to rhyme off some slow beat. You know what I'm saying? That's not his vibe. He can do it, but that's not his vibe. He wants it to be a little more sped up and things like that. And I think
Yeah.
Coach and I like the slower beats a little bit better.
Yeah, I
But
like a little anger. I like a little anger in my beats.
yeah, he likes a little anger. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I
So,
look at beats. I look at beats like sisters. You know what I mean? They coming off forms and
no
There
doubt.
it is. There
appreciate
it
them
is.
when they're your
There it
flavor.
is.
They're your flavor.
Oh, your
That's
Mm-hmm.
flavor.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate them all.
No doubt.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Damn, time is flying.
Everyone you can.
I wish I could talk all night about hip hop. I could just this is great. But Coach, you mentioned before, you said the N word. You didn't say it. Referencing your point. You said N word, but you didn't say the word specifically. So that leads me into a track that really, I hone in on as well. Track 4. You guys want to talk
Nga.
specific? You guys want to talk specifically about the knowledge behind that the creation of that track?
Yeah. Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate. I'm a big advocate for the word nigga. Uh, not so much in the term. Uh, well, I put it like this. Uh, how would I say it? Like so many people are against the N word, against the N word, N word this, N word that. Uh, but nobody ever thinks about the people that are behind that word. Um, the people who have been traditionally called nigger. Uh, no one gives them any respect, and it's like everything that happens to niggas. I'm gonna use it. And everything that happens to niggas is justifiable because they call themselves niggas. You know, and it's like instead of worrying about the word itself, if somebody self-identifies as a nigga, why can't you treat that nigga like a human being? You could treat a lesbian, transgender, a gay, bisexual as a human being, which you should. Why not treat a nigga the same way?
Interesting.
I mean, and the thing about it is, you know, if it wasn't for niggas, I'm saying, where would any of this be? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's really, a nigga is really the only defense we have against the worst disease in the world, whiteness.
Mm.
All right. Nigga is the only defense. And you know, like when you got white folks telling you, oh, you can't say nigga. Well, I can't say it.
And who are you to tell me I can't say it? Yes, I'm with you there.
And you know, like, and then that makes me a little skeptical.
Mm,
Why you don't want me to say that?
mm,
Why are you telling me I can't say it?
mm.
Because it's the one word I can't say the most powerful word in the English language, right? And that you don't have access to.
Well, you know, I take it, and I don't have a problem with the word, and I do say it and I do use it. I think,
Yeah, I know.
you know, culturally, I always marveled, you know what I'm saying, at the fact that, you know, and my students tell me all the time, I work with college students, and they always tell me that they don't code switch anymore. But I come from an era where we code switched. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I use the word, but I ain't use it around my mom's. I use the word and I ain't use it in mixed company. And by mixed company, you know what I'm saying about race and things like that. But now we share everything with the world. And I think that's the thing that sometimes I think we share too much about our inner workings of our culture
There you
with
go.
people that don't care anything about our culture.
Right.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of stuff gets misconstrued. I think, you know, I love words and I'm not for banning words, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very careful with the words and with the word choices. But I think also, you know, I always say it like this. Two things I say, just like Chucky said, like people are more mad at the word than at the condition.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like people don't care about people in poverty. People don't care about people that get brutalized by the system. They
Or
don't care
killed by
about the people
police.
killed by police. The people that people call nigger. Nobody is mad at the condition that creates the nigger. They're just mad. They're more mad at the word and the semantics of the word, and that's the thing that sometimes, you know, upsets me. And you know, I grew up with a bunch of brothers from the nation of God's and earth, and I always wondered, you know, the same people that are offended by the word nigger are offended if a black man call himself God. It's amazing to me.
Interesting. And again, so
Mm.
boy, if you look at the spelling of the word, Charles,
Mm-hmm.
that was brought up after Marone made the song, as far as to give it a different taste. The
Mm.
history of that
Nga.
is kind of interesting because you got different people, different tastes in history, but Naga and Nagu were the words that were used before the before the Greeks conquered the Egyptians or the Cometians and started calling them pharaohs. That's a Greek word. If you look back, according to Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, it was Ngu and Naga. And so the way that words are used and the energy behind the word is really more, I think, what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? If you use that word and a certain energy behind it, they fighting words.
Mm.
Use that word and a
Mm-hmm.
certain energy behind it, you telling somebody, yo, man, you my man, you just hooked me up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's just all about the energy, really. And people get caught up because it's how it's been used. Now, if you get deeper into nigger, the troglodyte nigger monkey, that has a whole nother history to it and ain't got nothing to do with us. And that's about all I have to say about that.
We're gonna leave that alone right there.
Wait, hold up. But before you play it, I wanted to say this one thing to
Mm.
big up one of the great philosophers who just passed on. You know, DMX.
Dark Man X, respect.
Yeah. Just cause I love my niggas, I'll shed blood for my niggas.
Mm.
Let a nigga holler with my niggas.
Mm.
All I want to hear, right here, my nigga.
Mm.
Black
Mm.
Yeah,
love.
that's black love right there.
Black love.
Heard.
Damn. Real quick, you guys got a favorite DMX track off the top?
Of course, Rough Riders Anthem.
Yeah, mine too. That's mine too.
Yeah.
Keep it. Mine just keep your shit the hardest.
Yeah.
Damn, I got
Keep
so
your
many.
shit the hardest is definitely.
I think
up
Get
there.
At Me Dog is probably my favorite. Get At Me Dog.
Get at me, dog.
That's
is
a
good,
hard
too.
track. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He ain't, you know, some of these records he ain't even want to record. That's the deep part about it too, man. It's
That track, Damien, was rough too, man. Woo. So the other side of himself, Damien.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, on the one after I found out he passed, you know, the song that just kept going in my head was that one more road to cross, one more risk to take. Yo, that's a nice little joint right there too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He had a lot of dope
I
shit,
mean,
man.
you know, and I think, you know, getting back to some of the conversations we've had about the industry, you know what I'm saying? It's like some of this stuff, regardless to what is gospel, you know what I'm saying? Whether that be gospel truth or it be gospel spirit or it be gospel, you know what I'm saying? Just the vibe that the people have, you know what I'm saying? Or speaking directly to the people or to the choir or whoever. And I think, you know, we have to put all of these songs in the context, not of whether we like it, we don't like it, whatever. You know, there is obviously something that is, you know, making people gravitate to these songs. And it could be a message, it could be a beat, it could be whatever. And I think if we really study that in terms of the industry, some of it is just programming, you know what I'm saying? But some of it, like, you know, like I like that new Cardi Up. I like that joint, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I wouldn't normally be a dude that would say, okay, well, you know, that's my, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff that I like. It's just that, yo, it has something that it does something for me. And that's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And some brothers, it does something for them and they be fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what's real about, like, with us. I can't remember who said it in the beginning, but you know that whole thing about Cardi B said people want to hear that. You know what I mean? When Lil Kim used to do her thing, Lil Kim had mad rhyme skills, and what she said was arousing. You know what I mean? And she was a cutie. So you know what I mean?
And so,
Okay.
pardon, but some people grew up on Millie Jackson, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Hey.
Wanda Page and all of these are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, and now since we going in that lane, you know what I'm saying? I love that music. I love to hear music by a woman that give you, you know, give you that nice little feeling in your stomach and everything like that. I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, like, I mean, that's doing something for you. You know what I'm saying? It has some type of magnetism to it.
Well, see,
You know?
remember that person or some of them who I think are against, who kind of put these seeds of dissension in our community about what the sisters are doing. Look, man, you know, there's nothing wrong with sex. That's how all of us got here.
Speak on it.
And if you didn't get here, raise your hand.
Yeah.
Therefore, also too, like my man Bobby Hemmett would say, you know what I'm saying? If you got some things that you rocking and you like that music, and you know, and those things around you, there's a time and place for everything.
Exactly.
And just don't
Well, I think
my 5-year-old kid. That's all. And I ain't mad at the artist. If I play it around my 5-year-old kid, that's my fault.
That's your fault, yeah.
It's my fault.
No doubt. Well, I think that's where white supremacy comes in, because they made everything patriarchal as opposed to matriarchal. You know what I mean? So we know the black. You know what I'm saying? We know the black woman is God, but you know somehow they flipped everything and they sort of made God a man. But come on, you know what it is.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, me and you can talk about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Both, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? You know, I believe in that. For me personally, I believe that you can't have anything without a male and female principle.
Yeah, duality.
A duality. There's a duality in everything.
Right.
Science, there's a duality in everything. You can't have electricity without magnetism. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. So anytime you got a situation where somebody's trying to set up something and it doesn't have that other side, you're imbalanced. And that, I'm gonna say that just to be nice.
Well, I mean, we got to find a way to celebrate everybody's humanity, even the people we disagree with.
Yeah, you got to raise your yin while you got your yang up.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a good line. Where you hear that at?
Exactly. Yo,
I think that was that Earthsea joint.
that's a bar.
Fellas, is there like one track that we definitely have to get off before we definitely have to play before we get off? Is there like one track specifically you want the masses, you just want to break down a little bit?
You know, saying that,
Well, I'm gonna give it to. I mean, you asked about Contagion, Charles. It's funny, we started this whole thing talking about Contagion, and I think we got so many good songs. We talked about a lot of good. I mean, each song. I wanted to get to Crack a Book, but Contagion is what you started off with. So it's something.
Yeah. I think that might be the joint. I think you're right there.
Big up to Michigan and Smiley too.
Yeah, this song
classic dancehall.
Before you play the song,
yes.
What did you get from the song, Charles? When you heard
Sundiata, this goes back to, I just need Black folks to just not take everything at face value. You know what I mean? It's just, I need Black folks just to be really cognizant and aware of the information that they're being fed and the reasoning behind it. So if the devil is telling you to do something, are you going to follow the devil's messaging? Are you going to follow the devil's way of doing things? Or are you going to just like take a step back and just say, damn, this is coming from this aspect. Should I trust it? I just need folks just to have their third eye open. You want to do the vaccine or not? You want to believe in this thing or not? Just do some research on your own before you just mindlessly, just go and do something. You know what I mean? And this goes back to even the track before. You guys were talking. What track was that? I think it was
Black Colossus. Or was it Black Colossus or was it?
It might have been Black, maybe even like Earthsea. So I know for me, when I first heard the Black woman is God, I was like, damn, that goes against my whole paradigm. Like, what do you mean the Black woman is God? You know what I mean? But then that forced me to do my research. Because I grew up in a family where I went to church 2 or 3 times a week. You know what I mean? And well, yeah, it was like that. So. And then, coming to that knowledge and, reading certain things, I've realized, it's not necessarily about Christ. I don't want to get too deep or whatever, but it's about that Christ consciousness and what, the 33 degrees, what it represents and, what the 12 disciples represents in terms of the planets. That whole, just not to get all metaphysical, but it's just everything relates to something else. You know what I mean? Say it again, bro. Say it again.
The build, because, the three of us, we might know what you're talking about, but you're talking to other people too, and they can learn from what you're saying.
Right. But I got that knowledge itself from hip hop, and that forced me to crack a book. You know what I mean? And get that knowledge itself.
And I keep forgetting you from Queens because you keep bigging up Nas, so I know. You know what I'm saying? Kojic is from the South, but he's a big Nas fan as well. And I'm a fan of Nas as well, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? So and Nas is just the evolution of my favorite artist, Rakim. So what I'm saying, as well as one of D's favorite artists, Coogee Rap. So what I'm saying, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. All right, so let's get into Contagion.
Word.
All right.
This is the news. Who's paying attention? They just throw shit out there. Who is listening? Every day there's something new, something's gonna destroy us all, then it disappears. It's the worst disease in history, it's gonna kill us all. It's an absolute pandemic, and we're all gonna die unless you wash your hands.
Ibrahim, the Elohim. Yeah, fuck the elephant and the donkey. It's like we live in the plot with 12 monkeys. They wanna inject us all like we junkies and further infect us. We all fuck, see. They want us to get vaccinated by a nation whose heart been lacerated. Stay inside the whole world contaminated. Cartoon diplomacy got the whole world animated. The black man hated. Some died, some disturbed, some recalibrated. This the end of the world as we know it. They put their faith in Allah, Olarum, Mary, Christ, and Joseph. We need repair. Slavery ain't our inheritance. Don't trust their science or precedents. Check the evidence. Tuskegee experiments. They got an evil history, shattering lives. They don't care where the pieces go. Look at Jackson, Hitler, and Leopold. They poison the water and manufacture GMOs. The real pandemic be race-sex breeding, though. The most dangerous disease. The most dangerous disease. The most dangerous disease. The most dangerous disease. The most dangerous disease.
Gas station niggas shooting the jive. Or you buying where you need to take your ass outside. I ain't trying to be rude or catch your attitude, but it's some shit going on with people dying. I'm already been in the blocks and ducking the cops. The last thing I need is for you to nigga, please. This whole reopening is focusing on corporate greed. George Floyd, your kids, nigga, minus the knees. Send them back to school in a cesspool. Whole different idea on how they test you. I'll make it clear when I say I don't trust it. We've been the guinea pigs for years in the discussion. Steady blazing, my insides is raging. It's the weight of the nation, or I'm hot cause contagion. Don't let me pass it on. My fashion zone now include matching when my mask is on. Take a picture in your mask for me.
Mind your liquid disease. The most dangerous disease. The most dangerous disease. Mind your liquid disease. Mind your liquid disease. The most dangerous disease. The most dangerous disease.
Oh man, super dope.
Definitely a thought-provoking song, you know what I mean? It's whether you agree with getting a vaccination or not, there needs to be a certain amount of awareness, at least look into the history of what has been done with our people as being guinea pigs. You know, lots of things that they brought up in that song that I think, you know, a lot of people, they're like, oh, you know, that's conspiracy theory. Oh, look, man, you know what I'm saying? It's not a conspiracy theory to look back at history and take a look and say, okay, this is what happened, right? And then move forward. If you looking at that and you ain't using that knowledge to move forward, then again, here you go, going in circles. We talking about elevation, right, Charles? We be talking about that.
That's right, elevation.
Elevation, moving.
You know,
no doubt. You know, I think it's a personal choice that everybody has to make, and like you said, I think research is important, and that's with everything. You know what I'm saying? Me and Chucky had a conversation the other night, and I think a lot of people bring up Tuskegee as a question as though they injected people with a disease, but actually what they did was they deprived them of the injection or the cure, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we got to look at it from all sides and understand, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just do your research and understand what you're talking about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Crack a book, shit.
Crack a book.
I think we got enough to crack a book for that. We got to play crack a book. We got to play crack a book.
All right.
We got to play crack a book.
Big up to my man Dawood and Asim Bowling. Their father, they are from Philly. Their father, he was from the islands, and he used to always come in. Kevin, you have to crack a book. Crack a book today. You know, and that's what we need to do, get that culture back.
Yeah, do that research, I mean, you know, like that's a metaphor right there, you know, crack a book for a lot of the things you're doing, like, you know, you might not actually open a book, but do your research, right?
Also, I want to encourage all of the teachers to understand that, you know, hip hop is literature too. And you know, if you write out some of these lyrics that's thought provoking, that's a book being cracked as well sometimes.
Right. Or half a crack a book.
But listen,
Look.
get some of these books we make a reference to because there's some powerful books.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
No doubt.
I don't like going outside, being judged by the bluest eye, invisible man, a monster. That depends on the crime. Man, child in the promised land. What they teaching theirs never wanted us to understand. Typical, miseducated Negro, school of hard knocks, I'm a griot. This the way we learned it from my people. Might have been misled, but don't call us dead. All this dividing the lines, scared, say you scared. Steady diet of sex, violence, and dope. The audacity of hope, where the fuck you niggas get it from? Our eyes were watching God. It's kinda odd how far we had to run to feel the warmth of another sun. But here we are, dealing with the hate you gave. We supposed to be slaves till we reach our graves. Never that. I think I found a way to rise above it. Sometimes it's a well-placed bucket, beloved.
I'm still wretched of the earth, first curse first in the art of war. Literary carnivore, I'm mature, not a dinosaur. Mad text a nigga devour, studying the 48 laws of power. Know your history, they came before the Mayflower. Stepping out the shower, bumping all along the watchtower. Not your average garden flower, the rose that grew from concrete. Every shot I ain't sleep. Close your mouth when the dawn speak. Meditate before bed. Spells from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Running numbers through my head like El Dorado Red. Cause my niggas been ducking the feds. Been ducking them. Rich dad or poor. The spook who sat by the door. Pay attention. I'm reading Quran source. From Noble Drew to Moore. Their eyes were watching God. Crowd cheering on the underdog. I've been counted out. Like a box on the undercard.
I grew up with hats with hot wax, electric cars with slots on tracks, action figures and afro pics, power black. That was a sign of the times, the beginning of recorded rhymes with a hip-hop mind. The vision is 2020 when you're looking behind. Malcolm told us we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled and run amok. Why? Cause your Afro crack a book. So besides the hook, let me help give you a look. When you read, you can lead and unveil, see the crook. How is you burning hot? Not learning from your circumstance. It is written but hidden, the plot to shout up your chance. You could talk or sing all day about murder, scandal, drugs, and things funny. Radio don't rock, the shit's about when we were king's money. What they never told you in history class is what we did in the past ain't been surpassed. So now they hit you with the alien gas, but they pale horses beholding what was told in the pages of the ISIS papers. Drop vapors, styles from the prouder files. I don't worry about the reptilian. Check Kabbalah to Gibillion to fill it in and expose black codes, negrito, accent, slap herbs. Serve wisdom like lines in the book of Proverbs. Africa a book, Africa a book, Africa book, Africa book, Africa book, Africa book, Africa book.
Yeah.
So let me see if I got the math from all the books that were mentioned in the see if I got it. Test me on it, fellas. We got the Miseducated Negro. We got Audacity of Hope. There was a Watching God, The Art of War, The 48 Laws of Power, A Rose Grew Out of Concrete, The Egyptian Book of the Dead, Quran, the Bible, Autobiography of Malcolm X, and ISIS Papers. Did I miss something?
El Dorado Red.
El Dorado Red by Donald Goines.
Yeah. Yes.
The Warmth of Other Suns.
Warmth of Other Suns, yeah.
Invisible Man.
Invisible Man.
How did I miss that? That's my favorite book. Oh
Man,
man.
Child in the Promised Land.
Man Child,
Oh man. Yes.
Child,
Yes.
Monster. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's quite a
few.
lot.
Okay,
What's
I'm gonna add on. You ready? So there's Behold the Pale Horse.
Uh-huh.
There's,
Yeah.
there's the Kabbalah and
Yeah.
the Kybalion.
Mm-hmm.
Most people never heard of the Kybalion.
Mm.
It's a breakdown of text so that you can understand it in a different way.
You got the spook who sat by the door, right?
Who sat by the door?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, that's a reading list right there.
Reading list right
Yes, it is.
Oh, The Bluest Eye.
The Bluest Eye.
Bluest Eye, right.
Beloved.
Beloved, yeah.
Love it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of books mentioned in there.
It's crazy.
Half a crack a book.
Yeah.
Gotta crack a book. Black people, crack a book, please. Please, your life depends on it.
Read anything, you know what I'm saying? And for the babies, you know what I'm saying? We ain't even put the comic books in there because, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of knowledge in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
All day.
Yeah, you know, like we neglected like Octavia and N.K. Jameson and
the Afrofuturism.
And Nalo Hopkinson and all them, but that's okay though. That'll be the remix.
Yeah, no doubt. Mumbo Jumbo and all of that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even thought about that in a long time. Mumbo Jumbo.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you.
The nigga Bible.
Or your favorite Walter Mosley.
Oh yeah, you know I love him. You know.
Yeah.
Devil in a blue dress, the whole nine. Yeah.
What we're doing here is breaking stereotypes all day. People look at hip hop cats like us and feel like, oh, they wouldn't have all those books in them. They wouldn't even know those titles. So then when you sit down and talk to somebody and you don't judge them by the cover, you know what I'm saying? You get to see that there's a whole lot more to us. To stop looking at people on colors and being so caught up. You know what I mean? People have different, like you said, we're not monoliths. You know, we got different parts and sections. You want to get gutter? All of us have seen that. You know what I'm saying? It could probably represent it pretty well. But
yo, think about what we was doing yesterday, right? but we still smart though. We still smart and we still knowledgeable and everything like that. You know,
and I think, you know, for me, you know, reading was always a part of what I did, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but I always want to say that I grew up, you know, and I wasn't no street cat, but I grew up with a lot of street cats that had a lot of knowledge and that read and stuff like that. And I've had some great conversations. And even when I worked in prison, some of those young brothers, man, they had that thirst for reading, and it is beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Because they had nothing but time on their hands, you know what I'm saying? And I was in C-74, so I always would bring books to those kids, you know what I'm saying? So they had something to read.
You know, and I think that's one thing too that I can say is that we were always around a lot of people that did a lot of stuff, you know, like, and I'm just honored to be able to record some of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, like write it down or speak on it and speak about it, you know, and even from my perspective and how I saw it. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't no killer, you know. But you know, like I get a chance to talk about it, you know,
and talk about being survivors of that era. You know what I'm saying? Because that era was really serious. You know what I'm saying? And
it sure was.
Being able to be a survivor, and for those of us who, you know what I'm saying, didn't always fit in, or you know. I got to big up a lot of cats that held me down, you know, because I wasn't that dude, but a lot of dudes look out for me, and I gotta be respectful of that. Some of them not with us anymore, but you know what I'm saying, that's real. So I get that strength, and you know what I'm saying, and all of that, and you know, there's a lot of different educations that we've been through, you know what I'm saying, you know, but you know, for my mom, you know, this stuff if I, and just to bring it back full circle, you talked about the responsibility of the artist. I don't think it's the responsibility of the artist. It's just a responsibility of what you hold dear. My mother is the biggest education advocate that I've ever met. So I owe it to her to continue to educate and give people opportunities. And she always told me that the most important thing you can pass on is information. Is greater wealth than money sometimes. So
3 more books for you, Charles. What they never taught us in history class.
yeah.
Also,
They came before the Mayflower too.
Yeah. As it is written. The last one was summer. And thought about it. I forgot.
It's a lot. There's a lot in there. But I love D. I love that you was talking about the some of the toys too from the era too. That was crazy.
Oh yeah,
race tracks and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
That was us. That was our growing up.
Yeah,
the Browder Files.
Oh yeah, the Browder Files.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is great.
And ISIS papers too.
Yep.
No, he had ISIS papers on there.
Oh, he did. Okay, no doubt.
So, fellas, where can people buy this wonderful creation?
Thank you, Coach.
Let's talk about it.
It's available on all platforms. Look for Chairman of the Bars, Dirty Book Records. It's on Apple Music. You can buy it on Apple Music. It's on Spotify. Streaming and. You can basically, Amazon Music is everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So we're glad to be able to, share with the world, the art. And for us, that's what we try to create is just high art, you know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of people giving a lot of respect to like Basquiat and some of those people that created art for almost like a purpose. And I think this project was created to be able to stand alone as a musical art piece, you know what I'm saying? But it's also been created to almost be a curriculum for school as well.
Man, on that note, this has been, they talk about true geniuses getting in that flow state where time just passes, like literally, what is it, almost 10:30? I mean, the time I wasn't even aware of the time, man, being with y'all, just building with y'all, man. It's beautiful.
I appreciate it, man. It was nice meeting you.
Appreciate you having us, man. And,
Absolutely.
Appreciate you giving us this platform and giving us the opportunity to talk about it. It's the first interview from this project. So, what I'm saying? Big up to y'all.
Big up to you.
And appreciate y'all having us.
This was Charles' idea. You know what I mean? I mentioned to him, I think I sent him the record. And he heard a little bit and he was like, yo, tell me about it. And he's like, yo, you down to bring the squad? I was like, yeah. But yo,
big up to Cordrick too. Big up to Cordrick.
Big up to
Ripcord, Mike Lord, Ripcord to Mike Lord.
Ripcord to Mike Lord, no doubt.
He's
the
conceptual think tank behind this project.
And his daughter Kyla, who does the intro and outro.
And I think today is her birthday. No, not Kyla.
Next week I think it's her birthday. Right. It might be one of he has 3 daughters, so it's one of the other ones' birthday. I don't know if it's a little one.
Okay.
Tomorrow. She represents tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
And I believe the universe puts people, in our lives for a reason, and I think we're gonna build in some capacity in the future. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Thank you, Sundiata, for just
about the school. You know what I'm saying? We are educators, and that's something that's beautiful. And I got a couple of my partners up there who are educators doing the after school thing and also the education in school. So definitely.
Ain't your man in Queens?
Yeah, my man is in Left Rack. My man Shati.
Okay.
Shati.
You should link them two together.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I heard that name before. Man, that's crazy.
You probably do know him. He works for Queens Community House. So, but he does a lot. I don't know. He does a lot of work with youth development and after school advocacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta build Sunni. I need y'all emails, man. Just figure out a way. Let's meld this together.
VX will get you everything, and let's keep in contact.
Definitely. This has been beautiful,
Go
fellas.
with it. All right, brother. Yo, it was a pleasure.
Yeah,
Pleasure, man.
definitely.
Thanks again, guys.
Peace, y'all.
All right,
Safe out
Bridget.
there.
Be good.
All right, peace.
Much love, y'all. Safe.
All right, one love.
Hold on.